My goodness. These are just stunning. So shiny. I love them. Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Rita. This is my channel 10 Red Lipsticks. Sometimes we talk about lipstick, but today we're going to talk about Sydney Grace eyeshadow. So Sydney Grace are an indie makeup company based in the US. They are very well known for their single eyeshadows. At the minute, they are doing a pre-sale sale where they've got singles on sale for $2 each, which is a pretty big reduction, better than half price. And they've got a special discounted palette of a collection of singles, most of which are from discontinued palettes, so they don't have shade names, but it is an excellent deal. And they've got their Christmas in July sale coming up in, I think, a couple of weeks. So I thought I would go through my entire Sydney Grace collection. This is actually my third attempt to film this video, but it had too many clips and it overwhelmed my editing software. So I'm going to be showing you swatches of everything that I've got. One of them will be me in different makeup showing you up here on my hand, but most of it will be overhead. Swatches all along my arm. I've got a weird stain there. I need to figure out what that is. Probably mascara or something. Get it off. Anywho, so yeah, Sydney Grace have an excellent collection. They have a beautiful formula. I'm wearing all Sydney Grace shadows on my eyes today. They are all from this 54 pan palette, which at the minute they have on their website for $65. Now you're not guaranteed to get this exact color story, but this is what the pictures look like, and I think I got that exact color story. I think if they run out of one or two shades, they're going to supplement them for other things. So I think generally it'll look something like this. It is a huge discount. If you really want shade names, that's one negative. Like, I would much prefer if these had shade names, but that's the only con in my mind. And that you don't get to choose the colour story, I guess, but I was able to see the colour story in advance. I knew the percentage of mattes to shimmers, and specifically, I own a decent amount of single eyeshadows already, and I have mostly shimmers, so I was like, actually, this is a great opportunity to get some mattes at a great price, and that will facilitate me in building my own palettes and my own colour stories. I've also got a decent collection of their singles that do have shade names, so we're going to be swatching all of these. It's a lot of shimmers, a lot of cool tone shimmers, a lot of pinks, a lot of purples. I highly recommend, if you are shopping from Sydney Grace, picking up one of their magnetic palettes. They are my favourite magnetic palettes by far. You've got a great mirror. The magnet is sturdy. The design is beautiful and subtle, and I think would be counter to nobody's style. You know, I think it's very kind of minimalist, but it's not too bare. Like, for me, I would be sad if these were just plain white. I've had this one for 3 years. The first time I shopped from them was their Christmas in July sale in 2021, and I have used and abused this palette. I travel with this palette a lot because I love to combine specific shades that I want, because I love to match my eyeshadow to my outfit. So if I'm bringing a green top and a pink dress and a red top, I want to bring eyeshadows that match those exact colours, or I think complement those colours very well. So I love to build my own perfect travel palette, and this has been my vessel to do that. And that's the only wear and tear we have. And I think because of the design, you really can't tell. Like, from far away, I don't think you can tell. Like, you have to kind of look for it to see that. So I think that's very well done. It's a decent size, the 12 pan. You've got the beautiful mirror. If you want something smaller, the 9 pan is great. And if you want something bigger, and this is what I'm storing all of my singles in now, the 54 pan is just a great option. I know some people complain about magnetic palettes that they don't perfectly fit the shadows, but just to show you with this one here, that they basically do, the Sydney Grace ones. So if you see up there, it's 9 across and I think 6 down, and there's just a tiny gap at the side. So in my experience, what that means is if you've got 27mm pans, which are not standard single size, but are a size that come in a lot of palettes. So for example, I think like the Limoncello palette and the Cloud9 and 1111 palette and stuff like that from Colourpop are 27mm pans. Ofra pans, what are they called? Glam Shop Poland, not the singles, those are 26 mils, but the palettes, if you depot their palettes, which you have to like remove the glue and stuff, but I've depotted a Glam Shop palette and it's really easy. Those are 27mm pans. Those will fit perfectly, like tight with no room to budge in Sydney Grace palettes in my experience. Whereas with the Sydney Grace singles and most singles, the standard size is 26mm round pans. They will fit with a tiny gap, but it's not a gap that I think makes them look weird in the palette. I think it's just a gap that's handy for when you're trying to get the pans out and remove them. So a very brief note before we get into my favorite shades that I recommend you have a look at, swatching everything I've got, and more in-depth up-close looks at all of my Sydney Grace shadows. Just very quick notice about single shadows. If you have never used single eyeshadows before, I would highly encourage you to start small. You know, get one of these 9-pan palettes, fill it with 9 shades that you would love. If it's a good deal, if it's not a good deal, and the shades that you want, and if it's, you know, not the right time for you to buy, they'll have this sale again next year. They usually have discounts around Black Friday or around Christmas. So I wouldn't be, you know, too upset if it's not the right time for you to shop. That's fine. These shadows will still exist. You'll be able to get them in the future. But if it's the right time for you to shop and you would like to try these out, but you've never tried singles before, I would start small, because from what I hear on other people's YouTube channels, and even in my own experience, most people don't use their singles as much as they use their palettes. I love my singles. They have huge benefits. You can buy the exact shades you want. You can choose not to waste money on a palette of a huge number of shades, of which you're only going to use a small portion if you're quite particular, or if your skin tone isn't going to show up all the shadows that you want in the right way. If you know, you have very particular desires in terms of the level of shimmer or the tone or the undertone, all of those things, you can choose exactly what you want, and you can save money by doing that. You can be fully creatively free. You know, me doing my own travel palettes where I've got a pink look, a green look and a red look, that's not going to come in a pre-made palette. Only I, you know, I'm basing that on my exact wants, so only I can design that palette, and you have the full creative freedom to do that with singles, which is so much fun, and I really enjoy it. And you can get some really spectacular formulae. Sydney Grace has a very high shine shimmer formula, but it's also very smooth. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Like if you've got textured eyelids, I think this is kind of a very shiny shimmer that isn't going to, you know, it doesn't have a texture that's going to add to any texture you've already got, which some other high shine shimmers would. Like wear whatever you want. I'm going to be wearing blingy eyeshadow for as long as I feel like it, and you know, I don't care at all, and you shouldn't either. But it is nice to have such a smooth formula. I think it's really beautiful. They don't really have many kind of sparkly shades. That's not really their thing. And it's lovely to, you know, be able to choose exactly what kind of finish you want. And there are loads of other indie brands that do go for more sparkles, or they go for holographics, or they go for all kinds of different things. And Sydney Grace do have multi-chromes, for example, which I've never tried. So you can like choose what you're spending your money on and what colors you're getting and what finish you're getting. So that's an excellent pro of singles. But there are a few cons as well. It's a little harder to remember your entire singles collection if you've got a big one, in comparison to your collection of palettes if you've got a big collection of palettes, because, you know, this palette looks the same as this palette, looks the same as this palette. Sometimes it's hard for me to remember which shade is where, even if I am thinking, oh yeah, I want that really special, specific shimmer. Sometimes I'm like, I don't really know where it is. Whereas if I'm like, I kind of want a duochrome, I know that the BH Cosmetics Summer in Saint-Tropez has 2 duochromes in it. That's just imprinted in my memory. The parasols on the front, you know, the design of the palette, that just sticks out in my mind very well. Whereas my individual singles probably have to fight harder to earn a spot in my easy to recall memory of my makeup collection. So that's something. Another con is they are fragile and they can be a bit messy. I think depending on your lifestyle, that's not a problem at all. And, you know, how much you're willing to put up with. I don't mind. I am happy to lose, you know, a tiny bit to have a bit of powder fall out when I pop up a shade with my magnet. Can I reach my magnet here to show you? No. Anywho, I think that's worth it. But for example, if you know, are always bringing your palettes with you in your travel makeup bag, you do your makeup on the train or whatever, and they just need to be a bit more sturdy, I would just warn you that singles are not as sturdy as pre-made palettes. Or if you've got young children who come in and shake your makeup around sometimes, I would be more confident in a pre-made palette surviving that than a palette of singles. So these are all just things to consider. I think singles are worth it. I think they're so much fun. I really, really enjoy them, and I highly recommend Sydney Grace's formula. If you live in the US, this $2 sale is excellent value for very high quality shades. So if you've never tried them before and you've been wanting to try a few singles, I would definitely consider, build a little 9-pan, see how you feel about them. I would not go buying 54 shades if you've never bought single shadows before, because if you're one of the people who just never uses their singles, that would be such a waste of money for you. So I would just start small, and if you really enjoy them, you can go back next year, which, I did my first order in 2021, and I just did an order for a bunch more singles and my beautiful 54 pan. So this 54 pan is limited edition. I don't know how quickly it's going to sell out, and I can't guarantee that the shades will be exactly the same, but I am going to swatch it all out for you, at least the version that I have. I'm going to show you swatches of the Mountain Trail palette. I did them face to face when I had different makeup on in a different video, please bear with me. Anywho, and I'm going to show you swatches of all the singles with shade names that I've got. So I've got mattes, cool neutral shimmers, warm neutral shimmers, pink shimmers, and purple shimmers. Those are the sections that I have, because those are my favorite colors to wear, and my if I'm going to buy singles, I'm going to buy my favorite colors. So I'm very happy with my collection. If you have a big Sydney Grace collection and you think there are particular shades I'm really missing out on, please do let me know down below. I would be very interested. I'm not necessarily going to order again now in this sale, because I did just place an order like a month ago to get that 54 pan palette, but definitely my Sydney Grace wish list is an ongoing thing, and it is a brand that I look out for frequently. They have also been sneak peeking some new palettes. They're going to be 9 pans like this. They look absolutely beautiful. There's like a north, south, east, west theme, and seasons, spring, summer, probably fall, not autumn, winter. So they have just shown the spring one, I think, the color story, and the next few will be sneak peeked, I'm sure, in the next couple of days. So that is very exciting. I will say about their palettes, I often find that they're a bit deeper than would be my preference. I have very pale skin, and a lighter look is my preference. They do an excellent thing at Sydney Grace, which is a light version and a deep version of most of their palettes, but it's usually only 1 or 2 shades that are different. And being as pale as I am and preferring as light of a look as I do, I could kind of do with them having 3 versions, like a light, a medium, and a deep, and then I would go for the lightest possible. So for me, it works out best to go for their singles rather than their palettes, but I was very happy to get this palette. It was half off. I think the color story works well. It's like kind of only this one shade that wouldn't be my thing. And the cover is so beautiful, and this is fully magnetic. I can pop any of these out with my magnet and then use this as a really secure travel palette, because obviously the shades are held in so well in this. So I love Sydney Grace, and if you are interested in trying them out, I hope you enjoy all of these detailed swatches, and it gives you an idea of what to look at and what to look out for. The sale operates in a very specific way. Each day will have a very separate deal, so I would encourage you thoroughly researching. Their Instagram page is the best way to figure out what's going on with the sale. I would have a look there and make sure that you're shopping on the day of the sale that makes most sense for you. If you want single eyeshadows, shop on the day where there's the best discount on single eyeshadows. If you would love to try out the rest of their collection, shop on the day that there's a free mystery bag with your purchase. If you would like to get a particular palette, then shop on the day where you get that palette for free. So just do look, and if you're in a different time zone like me, make sure that you're shopping on that day in Sydney Grace's time zone, not that day in your time zone, to make sure that you get the deal that is best for you. So all of that said, let's get into some swatches. We have got a lot to get through here. So just to mention, the Mountain Trail palette is being discontinued. This palette is a limited edition. Some of these shades are discontinued, but hopefully this will be helpful. Several of these shades are still available, so just hopefully this will be helpful. And in general, if you want information about the Sydney Grace formula, hopefully this will be good information. Here we have the top 2 rows. Here's row 3 and row 4. Just realized that I made a mistake. So on row 2, where I have Dear Diary in the 2nd spot and The Chosen One in the 4th spot, that's incorrect. So The Chosen One was not in this palette. I did get it in the same order, but it wasn't part of this palette. It was a shade I chose myself. Dear Diary was in, oh God. Okay, crisis averted. Dear Diary was in the 4th spot, and this shade here, and now of course I'm losing the light because of the time that has passed since I made my mistake, which is called City Lights, was in spot 2. So I'm just going to kind of swatch all 3 of those side by side so you can see. So City Lights and Dear Diary are shades that I got in this palette. So here's City Lights, beautiful, and Dear Diary. And then here is Chosen One, which I put in the big swatches, but is not actually in this palette. Though I don't really think you'd need it, because the first shade here, which doesn't have a name, it's not the exact same. Let's zoom in here and try and get, but I don't think you would really need both of those. So The Chosen One is not in this palette, my bad, but City Lights and Dear Diary and this bright purple, which to my mind means you don't need The Chosen One, is in this palette, or at least the version that I got. So apologies for that mistake, but I thought I would let you know. The 6th row. This shade is really interesting. It's like, if I could get it to focus, it looks blue, it looks like a kind of champagne. It's got a lot going on. I don't really wear black eyeshadow, but I think that's a nice black. I will just say the actual shade is magnetic, so I have slightly damaged a corner. You can't really see it, but there's like a dip there. That's because I actually pulled it up with the magnet. So that's the 6th row. The 5th row. So there are rows 5 and 6. So when you order from Sydney Grace, even if you order magnetic palettes like this and you know you do a BYOP of 9 shades or 12 shades or 54 shades, they won't put them in the palettes for you. They will send them to you individually wrapped. So here is a box from my last order that I left intact for this video. So beautiful Sydney Grace sticker. I'm actually not going to break the sticker. I'm going to open it upside down. So, a lovely sticker. They do these stickers with their monthly bundles. And yeah, very cute. Very, very cute. And then all of these singles come individually packaged like this. So, it's just a little cardboard sleeve and you can see the colour, but it doesn't say the name of the pan. And if you open it, it's inside this little thing, and there you can see the name. So this one is called Chosen One, and there it is. So you have to unpack it yourself and add it into your magnetic palette yourself, and then these guys you can throw away. So that's how they, sorry, that's how they come. Oh, you can really see the ring, the magnetic palette. When you order them from Sydney Grace and from most companies that I've got singles from, they come in identical packaging to that. The only exception is my 54 pan bundle from Sydney Grace did come already in the palette. So let's get into some swatches. We've got Adore Me, Laughter, Iced Mocha, San Diego, Pismo, Speedway, Concrete Road, and City Life. I think the only discontinued shade here is City Life. Oh, sorry, you can see my laptop that I'm reading the shade names from. So I'm going to swatch these all side by side so you can see what they're like. So there's Adore Me. There you can see all of my mattes side by side. Very neutral, very mid-tone. That's my vibe. but I'm not in the singles game for the mattes. So let's get into the exciting things, the shimmers. Here we've got some neutral shimmers. So on the top row, we've got Tiara, Troops, Peace, and City Lights, which is discontinued. City Lights, this one. On the bottom row, we've got Turtledoves, Strawberries and Cream, and Apple Orchard. Let's get swatching. So from left to right, Tiara, Troops, Peace, City Lights. For warm tones, we've got Turtledoves, Strawberries and Cream, and Apple Orchard. As you can see, I love a rose gold. So at the top, Turtledoves, in the middle, Strawberries and Cream, and at the bottom, Apple Orchard. For pinks and purples, on this bottom row here, we've got from left to right, Shine Bright, Save the Dance, the Ballet, which is discontinued, Golden Strawberry, Ladylike, which is discontinued, The Greatest Gift, Winter Garden, Dear Diary, which is discontinued, and The Chosen One, which is discontinued. So we are going to swatch those from left to right. So we'll do all the pinks together first. So here we've got Shine Bright, Save the Dance, the Ballet, Golden Strawberry, and Ladylike. The Greatest Gift, Winter Garden, Dear Diary, The Chosen One. The Greatest Gift, Winter Garden, Dear Diary, The Chosen One. Turtledoves, Shine Bright, and The Greatest Gift. Top left, Pismo. Top middle, Tiara. Top right, Troops. Bottom left, Turtledoves. Bottom middle, Shine Bright. Bottom right, The Greatest Gift. If you were placing an order for palettes are your main thing, and you were looking for 1 or 2 special shades to add in as singles, these would be what I'd look for. And I'd say my top 2 recommendations are The Greatest Gift and Tiara. But they're all beautiful, and all of the other shades are beautiful too. These are mostly my preference because of the colour. So here are my swatches for the Mountain Trail palette. As you can see, it's just a beautiful collection of greens and golds. Actually, I'll put it up side by side so you can see. So this palette is being discontinued. I got it for half off on a recent order. I thought I should tell you which shades I'm wearing today. So it's from the £54 palette. I have this guy in my inner corner. I have this in my kind of outer crease, this in my inner lid, and this in my outer lid. And I actually have a blush from the Catrice Romantic Gardens kind of all over the crease. I did a simpler makeup look with just blush as eyeshadow earlier in the day, and then put on proper eyeshadow for this video. I thought we should wear some Sydney Grace to talk about Sydney Grace. So I've just been having so much fun with this palette, and it's colourful, but it's not too colourful for me. Obviously there's quite a bit of blue, which is a lot for me. I think some of the blues are from the Tina from the Fancy Face collab palette, Droppy Colour, which is also discounted for this sale, or now before the sale. So beautiful colourful palette. If you're looking for more colour, definitely check that one out. But yeah, I'm, you know, just to play around with, to have these blues, maybe not for every day, but for once in a while, once in a blue moon even. I think it's really fun. I'm having so much fun with it, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And I highly recommend Sydney Grace if you are thinking about getting into single shadows. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate if you've watched to the end. I'm sure it's a long one. We'll see if my editor, my video editor can handle these shorter clips now that I've rejigged and consolidated some of what I wanted to say. But yeah, if you would like to see more videos like this, please let me know down in the comments. Are there other brands that I should go through and swatch my whole singles collection from? I've got Glam Shop, I've got Nabla, I've got one Sigil single that's not really going to be that interesting, and I've got obviously all of these Sydney Grace shades. Should I do, you know, BYOP videos where I mix my singles together and come up with palette designs? I would love to hear what type of videos you'd be interested in, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see my future videos. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did see that there's a particular Sydney Grace shade that you love that I am missing, please let me know in the comments, because I may or may not shop this sale, but I'll definitely be shopping from Sydney Grace again, because they just have a beautiful formula that I absolutely love, and they really have perfected the cool tone neutral, which is my favorite type of eyeshadow. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!